The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon or good morning. Welcome to today's webinar on messaging and collaboration, sponsored by HyperOffice and ChannelLine. This is Mark Rieger, Managing Director of Pro Americas. I am today guest moderating for ChannelLine's Robert Cohen. Let me start off by introducing our sponsored panelist, Shahab Kaviani, Executive Vice President of Marketing at HyperOffice. Shahab, would you say hello and say a couple words about yourself?
Yes, thanks very much, Mark, for the introduction, and thanks for everyone who's joining today. My name is Shahab Kaviani, and I'm responsible for the marketing and product marketing at HyperOffice, and we're excited to be part of this event today. As many of you may have seen, we've been getting a lot of attention in the press lately with our market getting more attention, specifically the collaboration and messaging market, which I've been happy to be a part of for about 7-8 years now with HyperOffice, and look forward to today's webinar.
All right, very good. Thanks, Shahab. Let me also introduce our guest panelist, John Kroon, CEO of Convenience. John is from the Netherlands and a value-added reseller, so the value-added resellers on the call will be of particular interest to what John has to say. John, say hello and introduce yourself.
Hi there, my name is John Kroon. I'm CEO of Convenience from Europe, especially the Netherlands. We are a communication and collaboration provider catering to the SME market and the large enterprise market. We are a partner of HyperOffice for the Benelux, and well, as said, I'm the guest panelist from Europe. So I'm looking forward to this webinar.
All right, very good. Thank you, gentlemen. Today's ground rules, we'll try to keep this to 1 hour, keep it on time. Attendees are encouraged to ask questions by writing into the GoToMeeting questions area. Some questions we'll be able to ask during the webinar, others will follow up via email. The webinar is being taped and will be available for your viewing, for you to pass it along to others within a few days. We'll send you all a link. As a thank you for attending today's webinar, HyperOffice will provide you with a not-for-resale full suite of their messaging and collaboration software tools. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. We have a number of questions I'm going to throw out and ask Shahab and John to jump in and answer those questions. The first one is, why is cloud computing or SaaS? What is cloud computing or SaaS? There's been a lot of media attention over the last couple of years, although it has been something that's been around for many, many years. Shahab, can you give us a high-level view of what it is and why it's important in the way of the future?
Sure. So this model of distributing software has been around for many years, just under different names. Probably some of the folks will remember when we used to call it application service providers. And the basic idea is that the computing power processing is done over the internet and typically in a hosted facility that is off-site. And as the broadband has become cheaper and web browsers are getting more powerful, we're starting to see the advent of more robust web-based software that businesses can use inside their company to do many things like online backup, CRM, web conferencing, collaboration, and email. And so within the cloud computing, there is a segment which is the fastest growing segment within cloud computing, software as a service. And HyperOffice is one example. GoToWebinar we're using is another example. And we're seeing the projections for growth, and even looking back in the last couple of years, we've seen very fast adoption, and predict that this is going to be the way of the future because of the cost benefits and how nimble it allows small businesses to be in incorporating new software and optimizing processes to make them more effective. So even if you look at the big guys like Microsoft, I think they're estimating they're going to have 70% of their whole staff involved with cloud computing in one way or another by the end of this year. And so I think that's a good indication that this is really a huge trend that it's going to be sort of the normal way of delivering and procuring software in the future.
All right, very good. In terms of adoption rates and looking at various market segments, enterprise and mid-market and SMB, would you say that there's going to be a faster adoption among small business? How would you say these various groups are looking at adoption and usage of SaaS?
Well, I'm closer to the small business side, and John can maybe talk to the enterprise a little bit. But generally, what we've seen is the small businesses are very attracted to this model, primarily because small businesses have little or no IT resources, and so avoiding buying upfront software servers to run a new piece of software is very attractive to them, and then the ongoing maintenance costs that are avoided through upgrades, since that's done by the software provider, is very attractive to them. I think on the enterprise side, they may have some of that infrastructure in place, and the cost-benefit analysis may be a little bit harder to get at or not as obvious as the small businesses. John, do you want to maybe talk about it from the enterprise perspective?
Sure. What we're seeing here in Europe is that the larger enterprises are getting more and more focused on their core business, realizing that IT services or IT departments is not to be seen as a strategic investment. Therefore, they are much more open to look at cloud computing or SaaS services. To extend a bit on the SMB market, Europe is a little bit behind in terms of the SMB market. They are at this point getting accustomed to the idea that you get your services from the web. The first actual products we see become very popular and successful here are CRM. And the next step is to have these communication and collaboration tools from the web. So again, enterprise market is more a consciousness, being aware that this is much better to obtain from the web or from a cloud service provider. And the SME market, it is getting there here in Europe.
All right, very good. Thanks, John. We've been looking at the growth of various segments within SaaS, and of course Salesforce.com and CRM has been one that has grown tremendously over the last couple of years, but currently messaging and collaboration is showing very high growth rates. Shahab, can you comment on why that is?
Sure. So the messaging, and just to define for our audience, we're talking about our traditional email systems surrounded by additional productivity tools which allow you not to rely on email as much. So for example, document collaboration. So if Mark and I were working on a document, rather than sending that out to Mark and other team members and getting sort of versions lost, you can have a document management system integrated with your email system, shared calendaring, intranets, and for some of the VARs and MSPs on today's call, you would you've seen Microsoft Exchange being coupled with Microsoft SharePoint and their BPOS packaging. So I think it's a very natural sort of convergence of email and other collaboration tools. The reason I think it's the fastest growing cloud service is well, the timing was good because a lot of folks started to grow out of their email systems from their web hosting providers. They started becoming antiquated. They didn't have IMAP support. Mobile started getting very popular, and it was either too expensive with their current service provider. They just simply didn't offer it. And so because of mobile, because of distributed work teams, more and more contractors, more offshoring, these distributed teams demanded that businesses find ways to share information. And so I think a couple of factors came into play and made the timing, one which supported this tremendous growth. The other things that I think are helping is the cheaper bandwidth and just making web-based applications a lot faster and snappier and more responsive. So where it might have been a little bit slow a few years ago, it's gotten a lot faster. And I guess the last thing I would say is email and sharing calendars and documents is really horizontal. It's unlike, for example, a hosted accounting system or a hosted web conferencing, which just a few people in the organization need. So this is a service that that touches every employee in the company, and I think that's contributed to the fast growth.
So we're going from a situation where most companies are using premise-based licensed software to applications on the cloud, and then further extending that in terms of web access, not only in the office, but mobile. So in terms of mobile collaboration, do you see that as a trend that's continuing to happen, and how does the HyperOffice solution address the mobile need?
Well, we were very bullish on mobile from a little over 2 years ago. So we started to, thanks to our customers who kind of give us the early indication, we saw that small businesses were not that far behind enterprises in needing mobile collaboration, and we feel that mobile collaboration is really going to be a huge focus and maybe the primary focus from our product development standpoint into the future. And so what we've tried to do is invest in technologies that enable mobile workers to access essential information on that mobile device. So we're not talking about browsing the web-based product on their mobile device. We're talking about pushing information like email and shared contacts, your shared calendar, to the native calendaring and email system on that mobile device. And in the past, that's been really reserved for the enterprise because it's just been so expensive. If you've done cost estimates for BlackBerry servers and getting push email to iPhones and other devices, it gets not only technically difficult but also very complicated. So we're very unique in the sense that we can provide a service to sync up natively, do over-the-air sync with any mobile device, iPhones, Androids, Windows Mobile, Symbian, Blackberries, and do that at a very low cost, about a third of the cost that you're going to see. So we can provide a competitive offering and let mobile workers continue to use the products and the interfaces that they're comfortable with, whether that's Outlook or the native mobile mail and calendaring. We're trying to make that simple to use on any of those devices.
And John, you guys are a user as well as a reseller. Tell me how the mobile application is being used by you folks and your customers.
You were about a second faster than my question. Can I add something here?
Sure.
Actually, the mobile collaboration is my favorite part. We are a company that has 3 locations in the Netherlands, and although we are still a young company, we just celebrated our 2nd year, we are all over the Benelux area. And the thing that we use every single day is the mobile collaboration, because it is so easy to use, it's so convenient to share. For instance, the calendar, it may seem very easy to do, but like Shahab said, we are in the enterprise market space, and we see really big companies struggle to get this up and running. And even when more and more people come in the company with their own iPhones or Blackberries or whatever smartphone they have, they want to continue to use that smartphone. So for the IT department, it's very difficult to combine, mix, and match all those different devices. And with this platform, it's as easy as unwrapping a gift present, a Christmas present. So it's our favorite part of HyperOffice.
And I've seen. I think, John, you raise a good point as to enterprise compared to small business, where enterprise may have the luxury to sort of dictate the device, the one device that they're going to support from central IT, where small businesses, you've got employees bringing their own iPhone, their own BlackBerries, and
Exactly.
so HyperOffice is sort of the glue that can bring that mixed mobile device into in a way where they can share common data like calendars, contacts, and corporate mail.
Exactly.
All right, very good. Well, let's move on to the next slide. Here we're showing some pretty dramatic growth from 2009 to 2014 for SaaS. And gentlemen, comment in terms of, do you see SaaS growing faster than traditional licensed software? And what are the cost drivers, or what are the drivers that's making this thing happen?
Like I said, here in Europe, we see SaaS coming up since about 2 to 3 years. And one of the main reasons for that is that, the infrastructure is available now. People are getting used to the idea of getting services from the cloud. I think what the most important reasons for customers to move away from premise-based solutions is the fact that this is easy to maintain, and it allows the enterprise, but also the SME, the small medium business customer to focus on their core business. And as more companies become aware of that, then the pickup rate will be even bigger.
All right, very good.
And I think the economy has also contributed where just making cash tighter. So anytime you can sort of lease something in a predictable way, so you know exactly it's going to cost you $1,000 per year or $10 per person per month, and it's not only predictable, but you're spreading that payment, over a longer period of time versus on-premise where you have to come up with capital expenditure up front, and you're not sure, are we building out to support 10 employees, is it 50 employees, is it going to be 200, and there might be a little bit of uncertainty. So I think the economic, some of the uncertainty and challenges we've had in the last 2.5 years have also helped that number jump up.
All right, very good. Well, let's drill down a bit in terms of the components or the feature functionality of the messaging collaboration suite.
Sure. So a few years back, this was sort of we were preaching this to customers that would come and say, we want document management solution, or we just want calendaring solution, or we want a business email solution. And we would have to sort of educate a lot that these are really part of a integrated suite. And in the last 1.5 years, we've really seen this product category get well defined and cover the major bullets on this slide here: document sharing, calendaring, online project management, business email, and a central sort of intranet to communicate and help distributed teams really feel part of a single team. And that's been done partly through our efforts, and also thanks to Microsoft and Google, who have followed along in kind of packaging features into a product set that we call Messaging Collaboration to include all of this. And depending on the vendor, you'll get a little bit more and a little bit less. For example, we'll include project management, we include wikis, we include web databases and online forms to build internal or external processes and workflows. So what you're looking at here is sort of the composition of the messaging and collaboration suite.
Okay, John, from your perspective, in terms of your use and your customers' use, which of these are most popular or being used most frequently?
Well, the business email environment is something that is considered to be, normal. You have to have that. But the most important thing that my customers tell me that they find very useful is, like I said earlier, the mobile integration. The fact that they can use every type of device they like. And the second part is that they can build their own intranet and have a very easy document management system to use. As I will explain later, one of our customers has a huge amount of documents, and they really struggled with that to organize it and make it accessible for all their employees around the world. And the first time that we demonstrated the way we do it and what this service does for them, they really caught on and said, listen, we need to have this because this will save us so much time in just making sure that we have the right versions, and when we are working together on a document, we can find it easily instead of emailing back and forth to get the right document across. So those are basically the main reasons for our customers to come on board.
All right, very good. Well, let's talk a little bit about the competition out there. HyperOffice has been around for 10 years, but Microsoft obviously has been around for a lot longer. Traditionally as a server software license-based on-premise solution. They've had BPOS for a number of years, and they offer that directly now, as well as through hosted providers like Intermedia and Rackspace. And then Google, of course, has lots and lots of applications. Shahab, talk a little bit about HyperOffice in terms of the integrated suite, and how does that compare to Google Apps, and how does that compare to Microsoft?
Sure. So before we get into sort of the feature set, I think the business model is important to look at. And what I mean by that is, how do you charge customers, and what services do you include? So through our channel partners, we are enabling channel partners to provide the training, support, and to bill the customers directly. And that's that's not the case with Microsoft. They'll bill the customers themselves. So we're very intent on letting our partners manage the relationship with the end customer, and then we'll also provide tier 2 support to our partners. From a product standpoint, I think the most important thing to note is the segment of the market that each of us plays in. So we focus on small businesses, typically anywhere from 5 to about 200, 250 employees. I think our average is somewhere between 10 to 25 employees. We do very well with the hundreds as well. But that seems to be the segment that we attract, and their needs are very different than the enterprise. And so what we've been able to do is strike a balance of providing the right level of feature set and nothing more, because anything more will complicate the interface. And once it gets complicated, you have a lot of adoption problems, and you get into shelfware, and these are services that they renew monthly or yearly, so you have to sort of earn that business every bill that goes out. And so we focus on the small business, and listening to our 300,000 plus customers that ask, a couple of years ago, they said, wikis started to become more popular, so we implemented wikis and made that as part of the service, and done it in a smart way, so it's not difficult to use. Whereas Microsoft really focuses on the enterprise when you're into thousands of users. And then I guess the last thing I'll talk about is sort of the feature set. So we include all of the capabilities that distributed teams need to share information and work together. One example is, say, online project management, where it's not included in either of our competitors. And then Google's answer is to, well, if there's a piece that's missing, reach into the marketplace. And that may be good for businesses that have a lot of IT resources. They sort of I'd liken it to the person who likes to tinker with his car in the garage on the Saturdays versus the person who buys a BMW because he knows he can go and get even his oil changed and never have to open the hood. So with HyperOffice, we're really aiming at the businesses that don't have the time, or partners that would rather deliver us a product that has the right features, fully integrated. And with both of these, Google and Microsoft, they may have unified login for some of those other features, like document sharing or contact management and so on, but they're not tightly integrated. And I think if you try these products, you'll see kind of how they're sort of operating on islands, and that becomes the problem when you start to share data across those modules. So, for example, if I want to attach a document proposal to a contact list, or I want to assign a task to somebody and attach an email string to it, that's very easy to do. So we're very tightly integrated out of the box. And I think those are some things to keep in mind as you compare our products.
All right, very good. Let's take a VAR perspective and an MSP perspective. And John, let me ask this of you in terms of differentiating yourself in the marketplace. You're not a Microsoft reseller, but in terms of HyperOffice, how does that allow you to position yourself and differentiate yourself in the market with your customers?
Well, first of all, because of the fact that we are not a Microsoft and a Google reseller, because of the simple fact there are so many of those in the marketplace here, and the only thing you can differentiate yourself is on price or your discount percentage. So by having a different, and I mean that in the most beautiful way, a different product to satisfy the need of the customers we have here, we differentiate ourselves. And apart from what Shahab was saying about the differences between the Microsoft, Google, and the HyperOffice products, I think one of the things that is most striking to our customers is that it really tightly integrates. And a lot of our customers say, yeah, Google has a good story, but if I send an email, immediately I find some advertisements or some recommendations in my mailbox. So it doesn't give you a very good sense of security or privacy there. And those things you never find on HyperOffice.
And I guess another thought is in terms of customer retention. How would you compare working with HyperOffice as a company and retaining and continuing to retain that relationship with your customers versus others? I understand that Microsoft has more of a direct billing approach, and how would you respond to that?
And let me clarify before I answer. I'm not really a Microsoft fan, so if you throw the ball to me, I'll throw it back at you. I view Microsoft as dancing with a crocodile. It will certainly get your blood rate going, but you're wondering at what point they will bite your head off. And a lot of the resellers in the Dutch market feel the same way. I have a background in telecommunication, and at this point you see the same thing. Microsoft is dictating the market now that all the traditional PBXs are over. You need to buy Link. So basically, they are bypassing their reseller channel. Resellers really don't like it if they have invested in this market, trying to build up a customer base and a good revenue, and it's been taken away by the vendor. And well, how would you feel about that?
Well, that'll be a problem. Let me move on to the next question. In terms of customers moving to the cloud, messaging collaboration is potentially a foot in the door. Shahab, can you elaborate on that a little bit in terms of how this is a first step for many customers and allows them to adopt the cloud?
Well, if we agree that that software is moving into the cloud, then there is going to be a second and third and fourth application that the customer is going to want to put up there, whether it's accounting or CRM or business process automation or business intelligence software, what have you. And since the most popular right now is email and collaboration, this is a great way to demonstrate, hey, not only do I, the VAR or MSP, have I gone through the due diligence to find the best product for you and your requirements based on your size, feature set, and budgets, but I've also done it in a way to make the support really a non-issue for your end users. And so once you get that win under your belt and demonstrate that you are willing to do what's right for the customer, it may not be the most profitable product for you, especially if you take a near-term view. You might be, better off. You might make more money offering an installed service, but within a couple of years, they're gonna know that hosted is a much more efficient way. Again, if it's the right size and the right requirements, they might find that it's an efficient way, and you've missed the chance to be their cloud service provider. So that the customer is either going to go direct to, say, Microsoft, who is just putting a lot of weight into selling this directly, or they're going to go to another VAR MSP that is offering cloud solutions. And once they get that first one there, I think they have a much better chance continuing to offer additional services. And once you do that, once you can offer that, you can move your focus away from break fix and driving out to the customer site to restart an Exchange server to building a much more scalable business because you can support more customers because HyperOffice or Salesforce or Intronis, whoever is supporting the software, delivering the software, managing the upgrades, and you can move your focus into more of a strategic business. What's coming down the road? What are some of the internal processes that we can automate and recommend other cloud solutions for you?
All right, good. So not only is messaging and collaboration a foot in the door and a way to get customers into the cloud, but working with HyperOffice is a way for channel partners and solution providers to be able to jump into the cloud practice. Talk a little bit about why partner with HyperOffice in terms of the kind of support and the kind of partner programs and relationship that you have with your partners.
Sure, thank you. So we started our channel program a little over a year ago. I'd say in the last 6 months is when we started more aggressively recruiting partners, and we were waiting for a lot of the sort of back end to be there, the market to be primed for it, and so we've been doing is focusing on our products. So John alluded to this, and unlike Google, their main business is advertising. Our main business for the last 10 years has been messaging and collaboration. That's what we live and breathe, and we've just been making ongoing improvements. So we're a product company. We improve our products based on customer enhancements, and just as a testament to that, just in the last year, we rolled out over 75 enhancements, including upgrading to a modern AJAX interface, which allows drag and drop. It takes advantage of what the new modern browsers affords you, like Chrome and like Firefox. We've done the mobile sync we talked about. We've rolled out web databases, and this is which we call hyper-based, and this is sort of a prerequisite to building our channel, because we wanted to make sure that in addition to the license profit that our partners can make, there's enough services revenue, and not only just the first initial setup services revenue for setup and training and end user support, but ongoing services that can be done around building customized solutions. So in addition to sort of out of the box HyperOffice capabilities, you can customize web forms, you can build light workflow over, let's say it's a nonprofit that deals with volunteers, and they're volunteers you can't get onto the computers to install, say, Microsoft Access. Well, they can manage the donors database online. They can build a form to collect information, send notifications out as a person or product graduates through a process and fulfillment needs to be notified. So there's a lot of customization and professional services that are now available, and we've been taking very conservative steps in building our product. We say a no to a lot of requests, and we want to make sure that those requests are broadly required across our customers. So we use crowdsourcing. We use a tool called User Voice where our customers vote on feature requirements. We work very tightly with our Customer Advisory Council, which is about 12 customers that broadly represent our clients, and we take our product roadmap to them, and they vote on and tell us, hey, you should be doing this, you ought not to do that. And so we feel by partnering with HyperOffice, you're working with a software company that's laser focused on the small business requirements and is actively, we're talking every 3 or 4 months, rolling out upgrades to keep you and your practice on the cutting edge and competitive against competitors of some of the larger software vendors out there.
All right, very good. Well, let's talk about what I think is the most important thing for channel partners and solution providers. The channel has gone from making money with hardware to diminishing hardware margins, to making money with software, to making money with services, and there's a big transition to recurring revenue stream opportunities. So the question is, how do channel partners make money with HyperOffice as a recurring revenue stream, and in terms of partnering with HyperOffice, in terms of prices and margins and revenue?
Sure. Just before I answer that, I'm going to ask if folks who aren't speaking at the moment to just press mute. There's a lot of background feedback there. So yeah, this chart is sort of a very low estimate on what the revenue potential is. So year one, if you were to bring on 10 customers, so if you have, let's say 100 clients, if 10% of them were to come on board, and the average is 10 employees, so if your average is 25 or 50, you can double or quadruple these numbers here. And then the revenue, the profit on the licenses is about 40–50%, and so you make about $550 per month in license revenue profit, and then you've also got consulting revenue, and we've based this on a very sort of basic formula of about a couple hours of setup and training, and then an end user support contract is just about $300. So that's probably about a third or a fourth of what I would expect that it could be even using this model. So we just lowballed all the numbers so you can just kind of multiply them to get at richer numbers here. The consulting profit, it's based on a person who you may be paying about $50,000 a year, and then the hourly rates that we think that you can charge for these services. So that gross profit is when you add the license and consulting and support revenue. So again, we're including the headcount that you have to deliver this business. And so if you want details on kind of what's behind these formulas, I'm happy to answer those offline. So we're estimating that even with small customers of average 10, you can generate about $16,000 in the first year. The second year, we basically we have a smaller number of growth, because the idea is that you probably picked off the low-hanging fruit. You may have to work a little harder to get that next group of 5. And what we found, not only ourselves but with our partners, is once you start to build that reputation, that business, the referral business starts to kind of kick in that third year, and that's where you start to see some really healthy bumps into your gross profits. So some of the consulting revenues are through setting mobile devices up, the web databases or the Hyperbase, and customizing the intranet, and building project designs using our online project management tool.
All right, very good. So we talked about market growth. We've talked about how to make money. Let's talk about support for the channel partners in terms of HyperOffice and ensuring their success.
Yeah, so we've done this with some other partners. Tata is probably the largest broadband provider in India, who is private labeling. They put their own brand on it, called My eOffice. Computer Troubleshooters is a 450 franchisee network of on-site computer support for consumers and small businesses, and so we have an agreement with them as the exclusive provider for business email collaboration. And we're looking for other VARs and MSPs that have a customer base who is looking to make updates to their infrastructure with collaboration. And what we can provide in addition to the profits that were explained previously is we want to help you be successful and sharing with you what we've learned over the last 10 years and how to market the product. So we will give you collateral, email marketing templates, what frequency you should be sending them out at, web content and collateral, really webinar, slides, basically everything in a turnkey package that we can hand over to your marketing or your salesperson to go out and recruit customers. And we can do even some of the heavy lifting. If you want to just provide the list, we'll do that on your behalf. It'll look like it's coming from you. So we will do a lot of the sort of the secret sauce on how to recruit customers. We're ready to hand that over to our partners. We will co-sell with you, so we will do presentations with you. We'll do ride-alongs either on-site, typically they're done through web meetings where we'll co-present, and after the first 3 or half a dozen of those sessions, you start to kind of get the hang of it. We'll also do all of the support to you, and as you need, you'll probably escalate some of those calls to us more in the beginning, and eventually less and less of those calls as you sort of learn your way. And then we provide you with a reseller console. You can think of this as a powerful dashboard that gives you the data that you need to run your business. How many new customers do I have? How many new users? How much should I bill my customers this month? We have APIs where you can automate onboarding of your customers to maybe you have your own web forms or your own consoles. They can make calls to our system. So we've built all of that over the last 2 years to have a mature partner program be successful.
All right, very good. Why don't we take some time, John, if you would, walk us through a little bit of a case study in terms of your experience working with HyperOffice. What motivated you to get into the messaging and the collaboration marketplace?
Well, I would say it's a logical step for our company to do that. Because convenience means ease of communication, and as the demand for more cloud-based services is growing, it was a logical step for us to move into the messaging and collaboration market. And the reason why we chose HyperOffice after a long search on the web to find a suitable partner was that it is a very well-defined service. It has how do you say that? It ticked all the boxes for us in terms of functionality, flexibility, i.e. it is full-featured. After test driving it for a while, we found out it is very robust, even though we are here in Europe, and from a geographical distance, it is a long way from the data center of HyperOffice. But you know what? It works very well. It is easy to use, and it offers us, but more importantly our customers, a lot of flexibility. So those are the most important reasons for our customers to come on board and for us to do business with HyperOffice. And speaking of those customers, 2 of those are Dyco and the city of Rotterdam, Texas. Just to give you a little idea of what they do, Dyco is a dyeing company that dyes fabric in a new way. And they have multiple offices around the world, but also production plants in the Far East. And as they build their own equipment, they have a lot of schematics and blueprints where both contractors, the project managers, and of course the management team of Dyco is working on. And they found it's very difficult to organize that until they saw our product, i.e. the HyperOffice product. And now they spend less time on organizing their data and therefore more time on organizing their business. So it has been a big gain for Dyco to start using the HyperOffice suite. And for the city of Rotterdam, Texas, being born in Rotterdam, I was delighted to get this customer on board because finally I get some return on my taxes. But for them it was, that's a joke, people. But anyway, the simple fact is that they have a lot of documents from businesses in the area that they serve, if you could say that, which they need to manage. And believe it or not, they have project managers that work in a large geographical area, larger than the city of Rotterdam. And also they found it very hard to work on the same version of documents, trying to find the right documents in this huge amount of information that they have around, well, could we call it customers, but let's call it that. Until we came along and we showed them how easy it is to use this platform. It's getting to the fact that they have a huge data center where they store about 5 terabytes of data that they're asking us to show them whether we could take over a part of that data, because it's easier to data mine in our system than in their own system. Your question is how did the sales cycle look like? First of all, I think when you come to these type of projects, you need to know the problem. You need to understand what the problem is. And once you identify that and you show that you can offer a tailored solution to that, it goes pretty smooth from that part. For us, as being a young company, it took us about 3 to 4 months to get on board and demonstrate that we have the solution and close the deal. In that process, we were supported by HyperOffice, in all honesty, to learn us how to sell it, to understand it, because the first customer that was ourselves, obviously, but that doesn't mean that you know everything. And not only the online support, but support from Shahab and his team was very helpful to sign up those first deals. And obviously those are the deals where you make money off. And the implementation for the customer, well, actually I find it very easy for the customer, because like it has been said a couple of times before, the interface is fairly easy to use. And even a guy like me, I'm not the most technical guy in the company. I can even build an intranet with this solution, with this service. So if I can do it, then that's more or less my joke. I tell all my customers, if I can do it, then you can do it as well. So yeah, it's and I guess the bottom line is that's how easy it is to get started as a new partner. There are not a lot of hoops to jump through, just as long as you understand what this service is about, and then go out there and sell it.
All right, very good. Thanks, John. Well, HyperOffice has been around for 10 years and has named customers and testimonials, but also HyperOffice has been noticed by the press. There's many years and more recently comparisons of HyperOffice and Microsoft and Google Apps. on some of these major publications. So in terms of selling a product and a company to your customers, references and quotes from the press and the media obviously is a very important thing. Let's move to a wrap-up. We'll talk about how to take next steps, and then maybe we'll take some questions from the audience. Shahab, in terms of next steps for the folks on the phone, potential channel partners, you've offered to provide a non-for-resale application for them, as well as adopt them into the program. What are their next steps in terms of how they get more familiar with the specifics of the channel partner program and engagement with HyperOffice?
Certainly. So we hope to see attendees just visit at least partners.hyperoffice.com. This is a great place to share some of the information that we covered today about the market size, about our reseller program. You'll see exactly how we charge for licenses, what the licensing model is to partners, and some competitive information, as well as a taste of some of the collateral that we provide you as a partner. And you can just sign up. There's a form there to receive more information or request a phone call, or you can sign up as a reseller right there as well. And we're going to include, even if you do not sign up as a reseller, because you get a portal as a reseller, but even if you don't sign up as a reseller and you just want to try this out internally, we always give out a 30-day trial, but you can get a 30-day trial and we will extend that for you. So you can use that for up to a year for your own internal operations if this is a decision that you're not ready to make quite yet. From a lot of the things that we're reading, this is going to be a big year where SaaS collaboration and messaging is going to be seeing uptick, and we hope that we can take advantage of that with your customers together.
All right, very good. Well, why don't we move to a Q&A period. Let's see, do we have any questions? Well, Michelle, how do we open this up to a live Q&A audience?
In terms of the questions that have been submitted, what I can do is read the questions out, and we have approximately 6 or 7 questions at the moment from the audience. So starting with one of the first questions from William Taylor, cloud relies on the internet. What if the internet goes down? What does the company do?
Yeah, that's I can take that. So along with HyperOffice, and this is something you want to look for in any product, is that there's got to be some tool on the local machine that lets you access that same data. Usually, it's we talked about the mobile device. So you can get it so that calendars, contacts, tasks, email, all of those are synced locally to your mobile device. Same thing with Outlook. So because we have a tool called HyperShare for Outlook, so there's a version of the data, most of the data, not all of it. For example, your intranet data, there's no application that is capable of syncing that locally. But most of the critical stuff you can get is being synced in the background, so you can get it through Entourage or Outlook or any of your other mail clients that's storing calendar, contact information. The documents is one exception to that, and so what some customers do is if they know they're going somewhere where they don't have access to the internet, they will drag their file locally, and we use web folders natively with Windows Explorer, and they'll just drag it there. They'll work on it locally, and then they'll drag it back to their web folder when they're back online. But yeah, there are some limitations with any web-based software, where if you were trying to access your intranet and you're in Cairo right now, yeah, you're not going to get to it.
Okay, another question from Phil Shumway is, does HyperOffice serve as a mobile application developer per se, or do you use mobile app developers to assist in pushing your tools out to mobile devices?
Can you repeat that question? I want to make sure I understand it.
Okay. Does HyperOffice serve as a mobile application developer, or do you use mobile app developers to assist in pushing your tools out to mobile devices?
Well, we don't have a sort of an ecosystem, if you will, of developers that can build applications on top of HyperOffice yet. That is something that we are considering. So basically, all of the mobile solutions we are building ourselves. Now, we do have a lot of APIs, and there are some software companies that we are in discussions with to extend our data to their solutions through our APIs. So if that's questions coming from a sort of development company, we'd love to speak with you and see if there may be some synergies here.
Okay. Another question from Marvin Bleberg. How open is your platform for use as a base platform into which others can integrate third-party applications?
You know, I'm really excited because the last 6 months we've really made a lot of progress, not only sort of philosophically as a company, but also from a development standpoint. We've really opened up a lot of our APIs, and so from the very beginning we always supported unified login. So within HyperOffice, and this is really it gets another advantage of leading with HyperOffice as your cloud application entry, because other web-based applications can be accessed from within the HyperOffice interface. So we have a section that's called Applications. You click on that, and your icons for other web applications are there, and then we can do unified login so they can open up third-party applications. And that's been working very well for a long time, and more recently we've opened up a lot of our APIs where we can send you data out of HyperOffice, and you can send us data. We're actually working with some partners that are syncing our data with QuickBooks and with Sugar CRM to exchange data between ours and their services. And we expect that we're going to be doing a lot more of that as our partner program starts to get larger and more mature.
Hey, Michelle, it looks like the next couple of questions are repeats. Why don't we drop down to the last question? What happens to the data that is stored on the hosted service if customer ends the contract with the service provider? How safe is the data on the hosted solution?
As far as how safe it is, there's an excellent white paper on hyperoffice.com. Under the resources tab, you'll see a white paper that talks about our data center, the redundancy. We're in a Tier 1 hosting facility that's SAS 70 compliant, and everything we can do to make sure the data is secure. Rather than sort of boring you with all of the sort of perimeter security and everything that we're doing to keep your data safe, I think the most important thing is to look at the track record of whichever vendor you team up with. In the 10 years that we have not had a single instance of compromising our customers' data. And believe me, now with competitors sort of shooting at us, and the just sort of social marketing, you would hear about it, and we haven't had any instances where we've compromised anyone's data. And as far as the accessibility of data, remember we started this a long time ago, and when we first got into this, we had to make it easy. We had to prove to customers that if there was a fire in the building, they can get their furniture out of the house quickly, and we made that super easy because at that time people were very skeptical. We've kept to that philosophy, and so you can literally drag your files right off of HyperDrive onto your network drive. You can take your data and store it right into your mail client or your Outlook or any other services. So with the exception of intranet page designs that you've done, and even that you can copy the source HTML, we make that very easy to do. That's probably the hardest one of everything. Everything else is literally drag and drop and synchronize to local applications that you can be working with. So we make that very easy to sort of move off of HyperOffice. And furthermore, we've got email archiving as well. So that's another service that we're in beta right now. So we even take that a step further, where we can even send you that those records, those mail files, if you need it.
All right, very good. Well, we've completed our webinar. I wanted to thank our panelists, Shahab Kaviani and John Kroon, for their comments, and thank the attendees for joining us. Don't hesitate to contact Shahab directly for any follow-on questions. And that completes the webinar today. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.